We live in a world where everything works. Data flows, money moves, AI responds instantly. Systems don't fail when they stop working, they fail when we stop asking questions. Today, we have a guest who has built, advised, and exited from companies like SaaS, supply chain, banking, treasury market, real estate, and whatnot. He serves some of the world's most powerful institutions, yet he has no digital footprint. Which raises one big question: what does someone know when they choose to remain invisible? I'm Kunaal Shindagi, CEO of Cipherion. This is not a podcast about technology, this is a conversation about consequences. Let us hear it from the man himself. You have built companies across banking, GRC, polymer, supply chain, SaaS, real estate, serving global institutions, yet there is almost no digital footprint of you. Was this intentional, sir?
In a way, yes. In a way, yes. Because most of my career I have been dealing with banking systems. So early on, I understood one fundamental truth. Trust is built not within the construct of how you actually make noise. Trust is built by the actions that you perform. And it is better to have high signal and low noise.
Okay.
So better to perform. And there is an advantage also. The question that you asked, was it intentional? The advantage is that when you don't get into these social constructs, the digital footprint, the ability for you to be able to tell difficult truths without having the narrative being destroyed because you are out there in the social media is high. So it actually works to your advantage. So it was very intentional. I wanted the work to speak rather than the noise to actually create a narrative for me.
Okay. But sir, in this age of visibility is equal to power, you see Nikhil Kamath, you see Microsoft CEO, Jensen Yong, the person who is in the news every now and then. They believe visibility gives you the market, gives you everything. But still, with all these supply chain and everything, you're still nowhere. Why choose this invisibility?
If revenue was tied, if brand was the one that I was trying to create and not revenue, then it made sense.
Okay.
But I was not after brand, I was after revenue. So when revenue is what you want to create, then you don't really care. That power that generates brand, and through brand, if it is going to create revenue, probably makes sense. But here I was going directly after revenue. So the power generated through revenue was higher than the power that generated through the brand. So I was happy not being visible. So this worked out well for me.
Okay. But it might not work out well for everybody, just like Cypher.
If you are in a consumerized brand, I suppose it will not. None of my businesses were consumerized. All of them were B2B businesses. So I was okay. I was okay. I'm not saying that this is the only way to do business, but it worked well for me.
Okay.
Another factor also is important. This noise is a very important element. What happens with noise is that you end up figuring out how to cater to the noise. Today's generation starts believing that there is so much that they can do through Instagrams, through Facebooks, through LinkedIn's. Trust is not built through LinkedIn. You don't create your ability to deliver through LinkedIn. Your ability to deliver comes through actions.
Okay.
Right? So if your product is good, the product speaks, it is doing what you have told that the product will do to the customer will pay. Because it is solving a real problem. If it is solving a real problem, the customer is happy to pay. But if you do not have those constructs in play, then you will have to find a way to be able to cater to all of these pseudo demand creation processes. But having said that, if you're in a consumerized world, brand is important and brand requires social media. So you need to do that. But here you don't.
Okay. Okay, sir. When you look back at your engineering and business years at the very early stage, what was the first system that made you realize this shouldn't be trusted easily as it is?
The very first system that I worked on, I was in the banking domain, as I said. So the very first system that I worked on was a reconciliation system. It's a financial reconciliation system. And in the financial reconciliation system, it's a very boring activity. You're taking a bunch of debits and credits that have actually happened within the customer accounts, and you're trying to figure out whether your ledger is also correspondingly showing the same debits and credits, and it is matching with whatever is the cash position that you have at the end of the day, the physical cash position that you have at the end of the day. Very boring process. You're trying to figure out whether all the three systems are reconciling with each other, right? So it's a very, very simplistic process. And it actually happened. So one day, there was a small currency exchange error that crept in. So let us say a dollar today is equal to 90 Indian rupees. Instead of doing 90 Indian rupees, I did it as 90.01 Indian rupees. Right? So I have added an element of 1 paise to it by error.
Okay.
By error, not by design, by error. Right? So when you do that, now what is happening? There was one small mismatch with the data element. In the normal circumstances, I would have caught it immediately, because in the old days, this boring reconciliation process happens at the end of the day, and at the end of the day, I know what is my cash position in the book with respect to the customer. I know what is the cash position that is happening in the book with respect to my organization, and I know what is the actual cash position which is physical in nature. So I would have caught it. But now in this digital world, all of this is happening.
Constantly.
It's constantly, continuously happening. And I have no mechanism to do this reconciliation. So this fancy system that we had, a boring but fancy system called reconciliation, actually helped. That is the one that taught me that these systems are much more powerful than actually going for this wonderful jazzy systems where the small 0.01 rupee, which is a 1 paise error that can creep in, can cause you havoc.
Correct.
Can cause you havoc. And if you did not have this physical reconciliation systems, you will never catch it. Or you may catch it at a much later point in time.
When millions and billions have already gone away.
When things have already, the water is way under the bridge, then you will actually figure out that there is a problem.
Yes.
So it is much better to have these physical systems that are reconciling. So that was the first system that I got exposed to. But it taught me fundamentally that it is much better to have integrity both with the process and the outcome.
Okay.
That was important.
Earlier, systems were very slow, manual and limited, but they were understandable. Let us take the example of CPU to GPU. The compute power has increased, but the understanding has decreased. Do you think we have traded this understanding for speed?
Definitely yes. Beyond a point, the answer is a definite yes. Earlier systems were like mechanical watches. They were slow, but they were reliable. You could open it, you could look at the gear systems, you could figure out where things went wrong. It was clear. It was not opaque. It was very clear where things go wrong and how it works, right? So they were definitely slow, but they were reliable. But today, let me take the investment banking world again. Systems are high frequency. You have AI pipelines. So the trading is also very fast now. It is fast. It is, of course, profitable. With speed comes profitability. So it's very profitable. But still, it is largely opaque. So I'm not very sure how it works. But it is fast. It is working well. And it is very profitable. So I'm going with the flow. There used to be this... speed is not the enemy. Speed is definitely something that we welcome. But there used to be this saying earlier, right? Speed thrills but kills. So here the challenge is, maybe we need to modify it a little. We need to say that speed thrills, but unexplained speed kills.
Okay.
Because we are not able to explain that speed with what is the logic with which that speed is working. So I'll give you an example, right? So when you do credit underwriting, most of my examples are banking because that's the world I come from. So when you do credit underwriting, you are trying to establish a credit score. And you're trying to say, till this credit score, the risk is limited. And beyond this, the risk is high. That's essentially what you're trying to say. So that threshold value, when you're trying to establish, you use multiple factors in order to figure that out. In the older system, what used to happen? It used to be rules driven. And if a particular credit score is not correct, if my credit score is not correct, or if I wanted to understand why my credit score is X, why my credit score is 700 and not 800, I could figure out, I could double click on it, I could find out why it was 700 and not 800. The rules were very clearly it explained to me. Today, I have no ability to figure that out.
Yes.
So many factors, it's a good thing, there are many factors that are being considered, but because of the speed with which it is happening and the opaqueness that has crept in, I don't really know why it is 700 and not 800. I have to accept the system given 700. That is not a good thing.
That affects your day-to-day life.
Correct.
Like in countries like US, credit score is way
paramount.
Yes.
Is paramount. There are so many things, my everyday life, there are so many things that are tied in into that score. My ability to purchase a house, my ability to spend a certain amount of money, everything is tied in into that. Now I cannot do that. So those are things which are not good about speed. So from the old to the new, we have to be balanced in that process. So from the old to the new, while it is good that the old was slower and that is being replaced by something that is faster, but the old had transparency, the new should also have the explainability to it. And that is what is a missing link.
Just like how AI is working.
Correct. Today our challenge is actually not the fact that the speed and power of AI is available to us, which is very good, and we need to use it. The challenge is the fact that we don't really understand the neural network thinking capability, the human in the loop that we all keep talking about. Why is it become essential? Because that neural network is unexplained.
Okay.
But I can explain something to you, and I can rationalize a commentary that I give you. That is not able to.
Over it.
And I can debate over it. I can rationalize it. I can say this is right, this is wrong, or I can at least tell you these are the rules that I have used in order to come up to this outcome. There I am unable to. So to a large degree, it has become, that neural network has become a black box.
Okay.
That's not a good thing. So we need to find that balance, and that balance is key.
Back then, failures were visible. Systems used to crash all the time. Today, systems keep running even when they are wrong. Basically, if there is a hacking done, the system is already failed, but people have not noticed it until the whole system crashed down, and hours together there is no access to the internet, Facebook, Instagram, and all those things.
Very true.
Is this progress very dangerous, or we should just ignore it?
No, it is dangerous. It is dangerous. It is dangerous. See, in a way, if you do a comparative, old systems were like a power cut. So when the power cuts, the light is off, the power is off. So it's very visible. Right? Modern systems are like a gas leak. Everything appears normal, everything is fine. Because when a gas leaks, till that blast happens, you don't really know that the gas was leaking. That is a danger. Right? So here, a system that happily runs on wrong data, data that is incorrect, it is happily running on the wrong data. Everybody is believing that wrong data. The incentives are incorrect. It is using that incentive, that wrong data to calculate a certain outcome, and you are believing the outcome of that system. That's a danger. Right? In the old age, that was not an issue, because the truth was, so if there was a problem, I was running a core banking system, the core banking system failed, my screens would flash red, my dashboard would flash red, the systems admin guy would come in, he would triage, he would figure out where the problem is, and he would fix it. But its system is down, so I know something is wrong. But now wrong data has been fed in. It is continuously moving. The example that I was talking about, where we were trying to figure out that 0.01 paise currency exchange issue that we were thinking about. Now imagine, I kept applying, instead of 90 rupees to a dollar, I kept applying 90.01 rupee to a dollar. And the 0.01 is getting applied. It is continuously getting applied. I might catch it after say a week, right? But the number of accounts that it has applied is tremendously high.
Correct.
The cost for me to go back and fix it is also very high. But more importantly, I have lost trust. Wrong data fed in, the system was working through, and eventually what I got was an incorrect outcome that I caught much later. Nobody knew about it because there was no, everything was green, everything was flashing green, saying that the system is up and running, it is working fine, but the actual data was incorrect. In the older system, somebody would have caught it, but here I am unable to catch it. So manual systems, while they were slow, they were good. Not that the progress from old systems to new systems is not bad, or there is, we cannot say it's completely dangerous, but it's important for us to figure out that balance. So this word balance is something that I keep repeating all the time. Accountability and balance is very, very important.
So balance, accountability, and understanding are the three key aspects everyone requires.
Correct. Have the ability to explain what is happening behind the scenes, which means you should know what is happening behind the scenes.
Okay.
If you cannot explain it, then there is a problem.
Kuch to gadbad hai.
Something is an issue. So that you have to be very careful.
Okay. Most organizations believe they are secure because they are compliant. All these ISO, SOC 2, PCI, GDPR, n number of such compliances. Even we cannot list it out. There are around 28 compliances which we are trying to handle right now. From your experience, is this compliance creating safety or a comfort?
Very good question. So let us understand compliance first. Whether it is safety or not, we will see later. But first, let us understand compliance. Compliance is like a driving test. Mota compliance is like a driving test. On the day your driving test is taking place, it is testing whether you have understood the rules. It is not guaranteeing that you will drive safely every day on the road. Compliance is not that. All of what you just now said, that ISO, yes, SOC 2, all of those are exactly that, right? At that point of time, do you have documentation about your process and whether you are compliant with the rules that govern that process at that point of time? That's what you know. It is not necessarily meaning that you are driving safely every day. You are following that in practice every day. That is not the meaning of being compliant. So it's a very important thing to understand whether compliance, being compliant doesn't mean that you have ensured a safe environment. Being compliant means you are adhering to a process. That's all it means, right? But if you have created that and in spirit are following it every day and are coming back and changing it because the rules of the game have changed, then you are creating comfort. If you are not doing that, then you are not creating comfort. Right? So that is very important to understand. What is compliance? You have to understand what is compliance and make sure that it is not just for that day, it is every day that you have to do.
It's basically me, if I want to apply to your company, I'm updating my CV every time and just applying.
Correct.
Andar jaane ke baad, I'm learning something or no is nowhere connect.
And then when you come in, you learn something more because it is relevant to the job that you're doing, you're updating yourself.
Okay.
So then you're making sure that in real time, whatever you have actually had as a compliance set of rules is being applied and it is being adhered to in practice.
If compliance disappears tomorrow, how many large enterprises would actually be safe? What do you think about this?
That is a huge problem, right? If you think about it today, right? Many large enterprises are compliant because there is a need legally for them to be compliant. Because there is a regulator who says that you have to be compliant. And if you are not compliant, the regulator says that I'm going to penalize you in this manner. So there is that fear of regulator. There is a need to not be penalized and hence I will be compliant. But eventually, if you just stick to compliance, right, and if that is all is what you are trying to achieve, many large enterprises will tick the box saying that I'm compliant and stop there. Inside, under the hoods, nobody will be. Right? So if you take two examples, right? If you take two enterprises as an example, one enterprise, documentation, beautiful, everything that is required to be compliant with SOC 2 is all compliant. They have ticked all the boxes. Everything is document. You cannot get a better diagrammatic representation of how a compliance should look like. They will take all the kudos. Another organization may not be as beautifully looking documentation, but when a real problem occurs, there is a breach that takes place, their ability to react to that breach is quicker. Excellent. They are quick. They have processes and systems already thought out, and they know that, oh, breach takes place first. I have to inform the customers that a breach has taken place. I have to give them comfort that something is actually happening under the hoods for me to set it right. A war room has been set up. Action is being created. I'm making sure that the root cause of the problem is understood and fixed. I'm doing all of that, and I go back and I tell the customer that now your problem is fixed. And by the way, I've also updated my process to make sure that this does not happen again.
Okay.
Vis-a-vis this side, this example where this enterprise says that, hey, in my set of rules, this never came up. Regulator never told me about this. Hence, I never wrote anything about it. Compliance doesn't mean that the regulator can also. Human beings are the ones who are interacting with systems. We can be regulated with known problems, but we evolve. Human beings evolve. Problems evolve. So the regulator also cannot write down all the rules and regulations in black and white. It's just not possible.
Every day there is an update in a
Something happens.
This is basically a topper versus a backbencher. Topper will write everything, whatever is taught to him. Backbencher will actually implement it.
Kunal seems to be very hell-bent upon bringing the academic curriculum into this. But it's a good comparison. It's absolutely
so that
a good
our
comparison.
audience actually understands what exactly compliance is. Everyone has this thought of compliance is tough. We have to pay hefty amount and then get it done.
Compliance is just about making sure that those rules are followed, but beyond those rules, practice it every day. Right? And that is why I use this example of the driving test. Right?
Correct.
It's not just about getting a driver's license. I will get the driver's license because on that particular day, I knew all the rules. But I should follow the rule every single day in spite of all the challenges that my fellow drivers force upon me on the road every single time. Right? So I should be able to make sure that I contradict and adhere to their idiosyncrasies and still come out safely.
Correct.
And when I do that, then then I know that I'm a good driver, and I need to keep doing that every single day. That is what compliance is. Compliance is a set of rules, but also followed in the spirit every single day.
One myth that everyone should know about compliance, which you feel that people don't know?
One large myth about compliance that people think is that it is too difficult. It is not. It is not. There might be certain language that the regulator puts in, might be a little tough to understand, but once you gain a little commonsensical understanding of that language, then you do that every day. I'm going back to something that we all do every single day, driving a car, driving a vehicle, right? So we know that when we want to take a left, we have to tell the world behind us that we are taking a left. So that assumption that I'm going to take a left is told to them. So there is a method of communication that I'm to do. That's all it is. And that's all we need to do. The myth that it is too difficult is wrong. It's very easy to do compliance, very easy to be compliant and practice it in everyday life. There is absolutely no trouble at all. So I would encourage, maybe through this medium, we should encourage every single enterprise, large or small. Don't get worried about it. Startup, medium-sized, large enterprise, don't get scared. It's very easy to achieve compliance. Make sure that you understand it and follow it in everyday life. Follow it. Don't be the one that actually creates nice diagrams and stop there.
Since we are talking about compliance, compliance is built for data. And data is the new oil, everyone knows that. Anyone who has data has the power. Companies call this data as their asset. From your advisory work, when does data stop being an asset and starts becoming a threat?
See, data becomes a threat the moment three things happen, right? You collect more than necessary, volume of data. You collect more data than is necessary. You combine sources of data in ways that the user has never imagined. Intermingling of data, volume, intermingling of data. You fail to protect the context of the data. Volume, intermingling, and context. These are the things which actually create a threat. Now, let me explain this. You're not holding rows of information in a table. That's not how you should look at data. You are holding a behavioral telescope about the person behind that data. Right? So, I'll give you an example. So, in one of my previous lives, I built a people tech company. I was capturing harmless signals. I thought it was harmless signals, right? So when did a person log in into the office? When did he log off? His app usage time. So when is he turning on the app? When is he turning off the app? When is he swiping the badge to go to the restroom? When is he coming back, right? So to me, it looked like harmless signals that I'm capturing. Data. Volume of data is huge.
Correct.
Right? So imagine the volume of data that I'm capturing. Volume of data is huge. But now what I did was I started intermingling the data incorrectly. My engagement dashboard now started inferring this guy is job hunting. He was struggling mentally.
Okay.
This guy is staying late consistently. I was intermingling data incorrectly. Right? I was capturing a lot of data. I was intermingling data. There was no context to it. My engagement dashboard looked very engaging, but it did not have context. Now the problem that came out was that, and it became a problem, the problem that came out was that I am showing a lot of data, but is the right people looking at the data?
Okay.
Because if a wrong person looks at the data and infers it incorrectly, that this guy is actually going out and looking for a job, it can be very dangerous.
Correct.
And that danger can create a bias between the employer and the employee, between the manager and the team member. And that can be very dangerous. Right? So the answer to your question is, if this intermingling, volume and context are not managed correctly, data becomes a threat. Till then, data is an asset.
No one might have thought the way you explained that data is so important nowadays. It's like, what is the most dangerous misuse of data you have seen? Not theft, but misuse. If you can give any example of your past customers, please do not name them, but anyone you feel that they have misused the data.
So this is a very apt question in today's world, where data has become, like you mentioned, data is the new oil. So we had a lending app. Now, normally, what is the purpose of a lending app? To figure out whether you are an eligible lender or eligible person to get money lent to or not. Right? So whether you have the right credit score, whether you are in the right job type, so many parameters that tells me as a bank whether I can actually give you money or not, whether you are a risk or not a risk for me, or if you are a risk, what level of risk are you? Right? So that is a purpose. Now, all of a sudden, we started training this with data. Data, right? So data, we started training the data. But data, like I said, it is not just a row. It gives you a behavioral telescope, right? So it's not just a row. So my purpose was to try and optimize it so that I can get more favorable approvals, which means that more and more people should get loans. That was the purpose with which I was moving there. So what did I do? I trained the data because we are living in these AI models. So I trained the data. But I conveniently trained the model in such a manner that I said, minimize losses and optimize for speed. So what do I want to do? I want to make sure that more and more people get approved faster, and the number of people who from a if let's say 100 people are actually asking for a loan, the number of people who should actually get approved for a loan should be 95, say, as an example. So how do I do that? Because over a period of time, a pattern has been established, and the AI model actually looked and learned from that historical data pattern. It conveniently started ignoring certain pin codes, certain job types. If you're a hotelier, you're a high risk, I will not even consider that. So hence, within that world of 100, that hotelier never came in. So I will always remain at a high approval rate. And because these are pre-known to me, the speed with which the approval takes place is also very fast. Inadvertently, what have I done? I have started discriminating.
Yes.
Which was not my intent. I never had the intent to discriminate. वो था ही नहीं मेरा. Now, it was not theft. In this scenario, what I did not do was वो चोरी नहीं किया. The problem was not theft, but the problem was the misuse. I used data, but I used it incorrectly without me even realizing that I'm using it incorrectly. I started discriminating against certain job types, people residing in certain pin codes, only because I wanted faster and higher amount of approvals to take place. That is a good example that I have seen of data being misused. And sometimes we don't realize that we are doing that. But kar diya hum logon ne.
Correct.
Data is a double-edged sword. It can, like you said, it can become a true asset.
Yes.
New oil and true asset. But if misused, it can cause a lot of trust issues between you and your customer. Or even potential customers.
Correct.
And your brand can take a hit. And eventually, in a consumer-centric world, bank, for example, is all about brand value.
Correct.
Trust and brand are interrelated. And they are two faces of the same coin, right? So if one takes a hit, the other also takes a hit. So you have to be very careful with that.
Just like how SBI in India has that stronghold in banking.
Correct.
But if you go to US, it's American Express.
Correct.
So they have built that trust and brand. They have not misused the data.
Correct.
Which we don't know if they have misused or no.
Hopefully not.
Yeah.
Hopefully not. I think there are systems in place there. But I think that's the key. You have to have very good controls. You have to make sure that there is oversight. Inadvertently also, developers should not start misusing the data. They may not know that they are misusing the data. The problem is that while it is not happening towards a theft, the misuse is because of a certain objective. Because here my objective was to pass higher amount of loans and pass them faster. So everything that I did turned to be a misuse because I was actually trying to cater to that objective. If I had made that objective a little more broader, a little more sensible, this problem would not have happened.
There's a lot to process.
Correct. Correct.
Lot to process.
Correct.
In the sense of misuse, in your experience, US, Europe, Australia also, which I know about, have you seen any company which is not your customer or any company who took their clients' data and really misused it by selling it to third party and then havoc happened and all those things? Is there such an example?
It is happening.
It's happening.
It is happening. See, hiring filters, down-tier colleges at scale. Insurance companies are trying to use wrong signals to either process or reject insurance. Health, motor, all types of insurance happening today. Your own, you go into e-commerce websites, you try to get into marketplaces, the recommendation engines that are coming out there, they are all giving you misuse of data at scale. We just don't realize it yet.
As a customer, we are not realizing
we are not realizing it. So all of this is happening today. Wrong KPIs are being established. As a consequence, misuse of data is happening.
Did you realize this at a very early period so you don't have all this social media apps with you?
Absolutely. See, one of the reasons I believed is that, so if you look at a behavioral science perspective, right, two things. When I send you an email, specifically asking for something with an action that I want you to do, what is the outcome that I desire is that you look at that email, you respond to that email, creating the outcome that I propose, or you come back to me and say that, hey, boss, aapne mere ko ye pucha, but I cannot do it, or I don't believe in it, or whatever it is, right? This is the objection that I have. So you need to have time to be able to do that. So one is, when you are focused on revenue, and all of this comes in, and then if you do not respond to it, what is the meaning of it? I am disrespecting, because I have sent you an email and you do not respond to it. I am disrespecting the very intent of having a conversation with you. I did not want to do that. Second is that I did not want you to interpret my data in a manner that is convenient to you. Now in social media, I am not controlling the narrative.
Correct.
You are controlling the narrative because you are deciding to read it the way you interpret it. I did not want to let that happen. So a conversation where I am controlling the narrative is much better, because I am telling my part of the story directly. Whereas if you read it from a third party, you are holding the narrative. I did not want that to happen. So social media to se dur raho. I tell this to every founder.
Yes.
इनिशियली तो अच्छा लगता है यार, फोटो वोटो खींचो, वो फोटो को डालो, वो सब अच्छा लगता है, बट फोकस ऑन रेवेन्यू वो करते रहो, मिसयूज ऑफ डेटा, कंप्लायंस सब अपने आप बैठ जाएगा, एवरीथिंग विल फॉल इन प्लेस.
So what scares you more? A system that crashes or a system that lies quietly?
Lies are the most challenging ones, especially a quiet lie.
Okay.
Right? System crashes, at least it's known. Something happened, the system has crashed, I have to go and fix it. It could be a technical bug, it could be a data bug, it could be an operating system bug, it could be something, right? So, a known problem is always easy to figure out. A lie is a challenge. From an outage, money can be recovered. But when you lie, you have breached trust. That is very difficult to recover from. So what happens if I go out there in the market and I have told the market that this is the data basis which I have taken this particular position of my portfolio. Depending upon what my position is, multiple people have decided to follow my strategy and have taken positions accordingly. So in a way, I have, with known or unknown is a different problem, but I have influenced this entire ecosystem to now follow a certain path. But all of this is based upon a lie. That is a bigger problem. And that challenge is very, very. So the thing that scares me is a system that lies. And why does system lie? Right. So I'll give you an example. There is a project that we once did for a local municipal body. Now, what does a local municipal body do? Few things, right? It makes sure that the citizens get water, the utilities, water, electricity, sewage is cleared on time, property taxes are collected on time. First, who should get property taxes billed and then collect it on time.
Yes.
Now a dashboard is being shown fantastically, looking, everything is checked. I'm supposed to be collecting taxes from 100 houses. I'm supposed to bill 100 houses with property tax bills, and I've billed 100. I've collected 90. Everything looks good. But here is where the lacuna is. So far, if there was an outage, if there was a crash, I would have clearly known that, oh, water is not working. So 25 incidents have been reported. These houses have not got water. It's a much easier problem to solve. But all of a sudden, what we figured out was that the household is actually sending the water meter reading to the guy who's supposed to come and read your water bill. Right? So somebody comes in every month, reads the number of units you have consumed, etc. That translates into a bill based upon whatever rates that have been agreed upon with the municipality. Guess what has happened? He never looked at the meter. I sent a WhatsApp message to him saying that I've consumed 100 liters of water today, 100 liters of water this month. This many units of water has been consumed this month. He never looked at the machine. He is actually billing. Now it is built upon a system that is not correct. It is a lie. I could have manipulated that data.
Yes.
I could have decided, instead of saying that I've consumed 100 liters, I could have said that I've consumed 50 liters. Now you could argue saying that at some point of time I will get caught. Yeah, I probably will. At some point. That point may never come. The point may never come also, right? But the whole point is that trust is built upon the system being accurate.
Correct.
And that accuracy is built upon human beings doing their job correctly. Right? So here, between system crashing versus a lie that the system is promoting, it is actually not the system that is promoting the lie. It is actually the people who are using the system who are promoting the lie. But effectively, the system is giving me a lie.
Correct.
Right? That is a very dangerous thing. So we have to be very careful. But any day, I would say that while we don't propose that system should crash often, that would be not the right IT system architecture. But between systems crashing vis-a-vis systems lying, I would always pick systems crashing. Systems lying is much more dangerous.
Tube light should be off, but it should not burst.
It should not burst.
Correct.
It should definitely not burst. That is more dangerous.
From your treasury and capital markets, what happens when data integrity is questioned? Not breached, just questioned.
Catastrophic. Catastrophic, because See, in our world, the risk models that we build, right? At the end of the day, it's a model, right? So a model is a model. It's got a set of inputs, gives a certain output that you have programmed it to do. Now, within that model, because I have actually given all the data that that model requires correctly, the integrity of the model is protected. जब तक सब कुछ inputs correct है, the model is protected. Hence, the output is reliable. Now, all of a sudden, let us assume that I'm actually pricing a product, right? I have a structure and I'm pricing a product. If the models that have if the inputs that have gone into the model itself are suspect, then the price is suspect because the output is the price. The price is suspect. The risk is suspect. Now, in such a scenario, what happens? Every time I might take that price from the model and I might price it to somebody else. He in turn will actually price it to somebody else. Abhi dekho kya ho gaya? When my price is suspect, his price is suspect. His price is suspect. Now it's a chain that is happening. The entire data supply chain is now screwed up. Now here is where the challenge is. Now the challenge here that we are seeing is that if I have to live where I am actually questioning the integrity of the model itself and hence the output, हर बार वो पूछेगा कि भाई ये price correct है कि नहीं है. You have to fail once. Correct. And that's all it takes. Because then every time any data point that you give him, he will look at it with suspicion. Because it has happened once. Once you have given him an incorrect output, he will always question it. So now you will say, Acha, he is now saying 50. Is 50 the right price? Should I pad it up a little bit? Because I'm not sure. Correct. And if I pad it up a little bit, maybe he will outprice himself from the market. Now, I have created further problems to him. So, you have to be very, very careful. So, the question is that when data integrity, now no breach has taken place here. Yes. Absolutely no breach. Breach would have been welcome here, in fact. In this scenario, breach would have been welcome. But no breach has taken place, but the data's integrity has now been questioned. And hence, the outcome that I have provided is in question. That trust building will take a long duration. Everything that I do will now be questioned.
Any example, just like AWS cloud providers? AWS gives it, some third party then gives it to someone else. Is this what you're trying to say?
Could be. No. So what happens in treasury and capital markets is that the market creators, the people who take a position in the market, are the ones who will create a structure and price that structure. Right. So I might create a structure, let us say a derivative instrument. I might create a derivative instrument which may have an underlying cash product, might have an underlying foreign exchange product, etc. Because of which I'm putting together a structure and I'm creating a price to it. And I'm using a model to be able to create that price, right? So I'm making some assumptions, I'm putting certain boundary conditions and I'm creating that price. But if I have priced it incorrectly, the model itself, the integrity of the model itself is incorrect and I've priced it incorrectly, the person that I am selling it to, he might further sell that product, packaging it with multiple other products, the classic subprime crisis that happened, right? So the subprime crisis actually was built upon this housing demand or artificial demand that was created to lenders who were not of the right credit credit score and hence should never have been even sold those kind of products. But those lending products got packaged together and was further passed on to somebody else, who further passed on to somebody else, and so on and so forth. So multiple people in the data supply chain are now taking positions, which are real positions, which are real money. They are real money, but the positions are based upon that first price that I created. And if my model did not have integrity, everybody else in the chain now has a problem, right? So we have to be very careful there. Hence, it is important that as long as the model is, the data integrity is very clear and hence the output is reliable, it's fine. But where there is even a slight chance that you are going wrong, it is better to say that I will come back, I will do more research and come back. Better to step back, not give an incorrect outcome.
So let's get deeper into AI. Every company is rushing to integrate AI. Every college is rushing to pump out students in AI. Very few ask what data AI is trained on. Are we building intelligence or accelerating exposure?
Very good question. And I would say both, right? So we are building intelligence, no doubt about it, but we are also accelerating exposure. AI is like turbocharging an engine, right? Uh, Only problem is that fuel is not tested. If you were turbocharging an engine whose fuel is already tested, it was perfectly okay. But here you are turbocharging an engine whose fuel is not tested. Right? So that is the power and the fallacy of AI. And hence building intelligence and accelerating exposure. So if you train the AI model on data that is incomplete, biased, compromised, AI will inherit those flaws. Obviously, it will inherit those flaws. But the problem does not stop there in just inheriting those flaws. It will also industrialize those flaws. What is the meaning of that? So we once had a client who said, I want to improve developer productivity. Hence, I want to have co-pilots, coding co-pilots. Point is very valid. Developer productivity, very good KPI. Making sure that you create a co-pilot, very good. But what is the data that you are training on? All the historical mistakes that I have made when I was coding without a co-pilot. And there is no guarantee that that code quality is the best code quality. But I'm actually training based upon that historical manually done code base. It might have some APIs which are deprecated. It might have some calls that are incorrect. So now what is happening? Not only am I actually making sure that the output is faster because I'm using a co-pilot, it is filled with errors because I'm actually telling the developer, use these deprecated APIs, use these calls, use these payloads, which are all incorrect because historically I've made those mistakes, right? So that is why companies which are plugging in AI data supply chains without really understanding the veracity or without really verifying the data, understanding that it is completely accurate. This is what happens. So they are not just building intelligence, they are creating or accelerating exposure. Again, you have to be very, data is the oil, data is the new oil, but data is also the challenge. And today we have a challenge.
Oil can be burnt easily.
Oil can be burnt very easily. And today we have the same challenge. Today we have the veracity of the data is always suspect. Until you are very clear that this data is good, the end outcome that you are desiring will always be suspicious.
In a perspective of a daily user, do you use ChatGPT, Claude, or
I do.
Yeah. So everyone nowadays who are aware that there is something called as data poisoning, prompt injection.
Correct.
Your personal data, in terms of technical, we can say PII, PHI, personal data. Do we even know how to unlearn it from the AI?
So this is a problem that people have not even realized.
Yes.
Right? It's a huge problem. All of us are actually in the middle of that problem. Whether I'm actually an enterprise or I'm an individual consumer, we are all in the middle of the problem. If I want to apply as a student to a certain institute, I take my resume, I take the ideal application form and ask ChatGPT to create one.
Yes.
My application has everything about me. It has my date of birth, it has my Aadhaar number, it has my phone number, it has everything that I should
Bank
not have.
account
It has my
number.
bank account details, it has everything in it, right? So it is happening today. Today we are, it's not a myth. Today we are in the middle of this. Enterprises patent my circuit diagrams, my code base, my designs, they are all being exposed without us realizing all of this is happening today. Right? Now here, partial learning, theoretically it is possible. If you look at AI and its capability to do things, there is a lot of things theoretically it is possible. Practically it is next to impossible. Right? After training a model using a set of data, there is no undo button to unlearn it. So it's not like I click a undo button and whatever words I've typed in goes away, right? It's not that. AI is a very, it's a very difficult engine if you have trained it in a certain manner.
Yes.
I'll give you an example. There was a customer who used it was a customer support application. They used real ticket data, real incident ticket data to train. In that incident ticket data contains the customer information, all their PII details, contains the nature of the problem, contains the nature of solution that we have provided. Because it was supposed to be an AI engine recommendation to aid the person who was actually helping customers, they thought, oh, take all the past data as is, pump it in. Now imagine how much data you have poisoned.
Correct.
You cannot undo it.
Yes.
You cannot imagine the places where now this data has gone, right? Because the next time a call has come in, AI has recommended a solution based upon this data.
Yes.
That ticket now contains a resolution using data that is already poisoned. Now that has become part of the learning algorithm. Further, the third ticket that has come in probably would have contained the first and the second. So now you see the chain. Now if you have to undo, imagine the pain that you have to take in order to undo it. It is practically impossible. Theoretically, yes. From a perspective of science, undoing, unlearning, partial unlearning, all of that is possible. Practical sense, it is next to impossible. You have to live with that until you actually go ahead and start training, start with a model again and start retraining it, which, it means that you are losing time, you are losing effort, you are retesting your accuracy level, so many things you'll have to redo again, right?
Yes.
So poisoning is something that is real. We are in the middle of it.
It's already happening.
It's happening today. It is happening today. And today, there are not a whole lot of solutions out there which are actually helping. Right? In bits and pieces, people are doing things, but holistically, nobody is doing it. This is a real problem.
My thought process on this is, what if, let us say, I am training a data with all the PI, PHIs, everyone has heard about deep fake.
Correct.
I can actually mimic you
Yes.
by also understanding your calls or whatever ticket you said right now.
Exactly.
I can mimic you and call your family.
Absolutely.
All the voice.
Look at all the problems that are happening today in cybercrime, right? The digital arrest phenomena that is now very much in vogue.
Yes.
People are losing lakhs and lakhs of rupees. Right? Lakhs and lakhs of rupees. Suspect are those population which do not understand.
Correct.
Right? And a little bit of psychology, if I can play that.
Yes.
I don't know, maybe there is some hypnotical process also that is going on, but that aside, but if I can actually start using the data, misuse the data in the wrong direction, criminal wise, see what is happening. Right? So poisoning of data is real.
If I have access to your ChatGPT and you have given all your details,
Correct.
like this is my address, phone number, I can actually potentially do the prompt injection, get your data.
Correct.
Use some 11 labs or something to get your voice.
Correct.
Call your family saying that they will ask certain questions. And I already know the answers to it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You can call my bank, you can call everything, and that is happening today.
Gen Zs are actually talking about their personal life here.
Correct.
This is what my family is saying, this is what my girlfriend is saying. Then anyone can practically misuse it.
Absolutely. The poisoning of data is a real problem and it is only going to compound. One of the negatives of AI probably is that, and we need to find guardrails, and there are not a lot of solutions to this. So we need to find more and more solutions which can solve this problem.
So this is a big business opportunity in the upcoming days.
Correct.
Do you also feel that this is a bubble, which everyone is saying, AI bubble?
AI is not a bubble. The end result of AI is here to stay. The applications and the outcomes of AI is real. The problem that we have today is that AI is requiring intense GPU compute hours, and the data centers that have the GPU compute hours are not many. Right? And hence, it is not democratized.
Correct.
So, I and you cannot access, we cannot create a foundational model today because I don't have access to that kind of GPU. Right? If I require 1,000 GPUs, I don't have access to the 1,000 GPUs that are required for me to create a foundational model, which is why we download an existing model, we try to train our data to the best extent possible, right? With whatever data quality that I have, hopefully not poisoned, hopefully not injected with wrong elements in it. So I will try to train it, etc., right? But imagine if I'm able to solve the problem associated to not needing that kind of GPU compute power, not needing that kind of energy requirements that the data center in the GPU compute power requires, then the applications that I'm developing and the problems that I'm solving are all real. So AI is not a bubble. The engine behind it is probably suspect today, not because the engine is incorrect, it is just intensive in terms of energy and in terms of the amount of compute power that I require. So if we solve that problem, and there are ways that it is getting solved today, if we solve that problem, then I think automatically the applications of AI will become even more applicable to the larger consumer base.
Applicable and everything.
Correct. So it's not a bubble. It is real and it is here to stay.
Yes. Yeah. So since we are talking about this data poisoning, at the moment all the AI that is trained, they say that it is trained on the publicly available data. The biggest question comes when the institutions, they have their privately owned data and they start going against the rules and compliance and use that privately owned data. Without naming them, the institutions that you serve today, they are large. Banking, biggest sector; GRC, biggest sector; supply chain, one of the biggest sector. If anything is breached, the whole economy can collapse. What do you fear most about the privately owned data of these companies which you cater to, you serve to?
Data. Data is data. Hai na? So if you look at our customers, right? So the largest fear that they have, it's not more about the loss of data, but more about the control over that loss of data. Okay. Right? So it's not about will somebody come and steal my data. That's still a valid problem. But what they are more worried about is, will somebody come and steal my data, reinterpret it, and then post it under my logo with that new interpretation. Now I've lost control of my narrative. वो डेटा का कुछ समझ अलग था, अभी now it is meaning exactly the opposite of it. Under my umbrella, under my logo now. Now I have lost control of the narrative itself. Now that's a very dangerous scenario, right? So what people have started asking this question, and it's a real anxiety, right? This interpretation is a real anxiety. Breach is hurting, and it hurts very, very bad. But what they're trying to ask is, if a problem does happen, what can I do to immediately control the narrative? Breach has happened. I should have taken steps to control it in the first place, but since I did not, now it has happened. What can I tell the world about the data so that I can actually control that the data that has gone rogue is this kind, and any other narrative that you hear is incorrect. So the fear is not so much about losing data, it is about controlling the narrative associated with the losing of data. That is what I see now.
So it's like the fear is about hackers or accountability, the code.
Correct. Both the hacker and the accountability, right? So see, hacker's job is to hack.
Yes.
And वो करेगा ही. आप मतलब no matter what you do, no matter how much the law enforcement agencies are strong, the hacker is the villain, right? So he will always be one step ahead of the game, right? And that's a good thing, which means that if he's one step ahead of the game, which means the law enforcement agencies also will become that much more sophisticated. And hopefully they will think about the next step even before the hacker thinks about it. So that's bound to happen. Now, accountability is where the problem lies. And accountability is a little tricky one, right? So what has to go wrong has gone wrong. Now, how do you explain why I did not think about the possibility of that could have gone wrong? Why did I not think about it?
Correct.
That is my job. If I am the CISO, right? If I am the Chief Information and Security Officer in a bank, that's my job. I'm being paid for it, to think ahead of the hacker. Hacker आया, खा लिया, गया. Why did I not think about it? Why did I not safeguard myself? That is now accountability comes into play, right? Hacker का काम उसने कर दिया, villain का काम कर दिया उसने. But I did not think about it. I did not create accountability. Now the challenge is even better. There was a slide which came up in a boardroom 3 quarters ago, which showed this potential threat that could happen. And collectively in the boardroom, we said, there's a problem. Let us look at it 1 year from today. Now I'm stuck. फिर तो मैं फंस गया. Now I've got an email trail, I've got board minutes, everything which says that I knew about it. I knew the possibility was there that such a threat existed. I did not act on it. I'm accountable.
It's like a doomsday.
It's a doomsday. I'm accountable now. Now I knew this was potentially, and that's exactly what the hacker did. He came in, he did what I predicted. He took away my data, or he interpreted my data differently. He did whatever he was supposed to do. And that's precisely what I had told is a possibility. And you as a board did not act upon it. You as a CISO did not act upon it. Now you are turned accountable. That is a bigger fear. And that's a larger fear. Because everybody is now trying to figure out why I did not act on it. Right? So that's a larger fear. Accountability is where the buck stops.
You have been catering to maybe 100 plus institutions all these years.
Correct.
When these institutions come to you with the prior conversation, is it usually proactive or they are too late? As you were saying, एक साल बाद आ गए. Is it proactive or are they already too late? Has this ever happened?
Almost always too late. Almost always. मैं कभी ऐसा उसका proactiveness में भी too late ही रहता है. वो I will tell you how. It is almost always too late, right? So the first engagement typically happens is that we just had an incident. An hacker came, he did something. Kuch incident हुआ है. That is one type. They'll come, something has happened. Now I have, इतना दिन तो मैं सोया हुआ था, अभी मैं जग गया. Now please help me. So that is one category. Something has happened. So the consequence of that happening is why you are actually coming now and asking, please help me set this situation right. So can you give me a solution that will make sure that I am compliant better, I am secure better, etc., etc. Second scenario that happens is that regulator is now going to come down. In 2 weeks' time, he is going to come and ask me for this report. Now what do I do? Because there is a fear of the regulator. And there is a consequence, right? So either he'll be fined, or there will be some penalty, or he might lose a license. Something will happen because the regulator has asked you this. So that is the second scenario. You are, again, it is almost always too late. You're not doing it proactively to safeguard. You're doing it because somebody is actually putting a gun on you. In this scenario, the regulator is the one who's putting a gun on you. In both scenarios, if you see, always too late.
Always too late.
Now, what normally happens, I'll give you a real example, right? So there is a GRC customer that I was trying to interest them for a couple of quarters. मेरा phone नहीं उठाया, कुछ नहीं किया. I kept trying, I kept sending emails, nothing was happening. And one fine day, out of the blue, when I least expected, the CISO calls me and he says, can you come over? Can you do a demo? And then we want to sign the dotted line this week. Now I was trying to think, boss, I have been chasing this guy for so long.
Is it
now
a very
proactively he's
big,
coming to me.
And everyone knows about this?
So now, it's a very, very big company. So now all of a sudden he comes and I say, hey, why is this so? Then he says, 2 weeks from today, the regulator is coming. So here, see again, you see, the challenge is not his proactive challenge. The challenge is because the regulator is coming in. Somebody inside the organization has done a whistleblowing.
Okay.
So he is trying to cover up by saying that I have put systems in place. I'll get business. ठीक है, मेरे को तो, one way or the other, it creates a compelling event and I will actually go and close business. But the intent here is more to put a tick mark than actually create a compliant solution in practice. That may not be the right way. It's still too late. It's still too late. And if he does not do it in practice every day, it will continue to be too late, even if he has a solution in place. So, another bank proactively came in. But वो भी किया कैसा? वो proactively. मतलब I never approached them. He proactively came in. He said, because down the street, I have another bank who's already facing a problem. I don't want to be in the same shit. So you please help me. But because that other bank had that problem, if everybody, गली में कोई घर पे आग नहीं लगा होता, तो I will never do a fire drill. पहला घर आग लग जाओ, सारा का सारा गली, they'll bring that, what do those
fire
extinguishers? The fire extinguishers.
Correct.
They will all buy those fire extinguishers. But पहला घर आग लग गया, उसके बाद सब लोग जग जाएंगे. That is a problem.
Correct.
And that is exactly how the market is today.
Startups often say we'll fix security after scale. Since we are talking about banks and everyone, startups is a booming thing in India. From your experience, how many never get the chance? And is later the most dangerous word in technology?
Very, very important question. And it's very close to my heart as well. I have had the opportunity to work with quite a few startups. Most never get a chance to fix security after they hit scale. They almost never get the chance. See, the irony is we take shortcuts initially because we are dealing with time as a variable. We want to get the product faster to the market, test the product quickly, make sure that the product is market fit. So all those euphemisms make us make sure that we get to product very quickly. तो हम लोग शॉर्टकट लेते हैं. एक एग्जांपल शॉर्टकट का यूजर आईडी पासवर्ड कोड में डाल देते हैं. अब नागराज भाई साहब से पूछो. So we will put all those in there. So that's a shortcut.
Correct.
Good programmers, Nagaraj is a good example of that. He will ensure that this compromise never takes place from day one. So it is a DNA that you have to start applying from day one. Things that have to be encrypted cannot be an afterthought. It should be baked into design. It cannot be that अच्छा एक बार scale होने के बाद अगर आप जाके वापस करोगे, it is more expensive. It will delay your ability to be able to build the additional features in the product because you'll go back to architecture again.
Correct.
You'll have to go back and recode everything that you have done. Right? Now, there are many examples. I've seen deals where Series A भी हो गया है, Series B also हो गया है. Investors, good investors, we are not talking about mom and pop angel investors, we are talking about institutional investors, pumped in money. Guess what happens after that? All of a sudden we are seeing that under the hoods somebody came and is ready to do an acquisition of your company. Under the hoods they open it because at that time due diligence is real. Code level ka due diligence chalta hai. So when they open the hoods and see under the cover, they uncover so many things that are not baked in. From an architecture perspective, security due diligence is not given an okay. It dies. That acquisition that could have easily happened, it dies. And एक बार market में वो पता चल गया, then it takes a lot more time for you to come back again into the market. So it takes a lot of time, right? So I would say startups almost always never ever get a chance to revisit at scale because it is too expensive by then.
The most expensive security mistake a startup makes, is it the first year or the later? According to
First year. And the very simplest of things are the biggest mistakes. So when you're initially coding, you want to log everything. And it's right also because you're trying to figure out how the code works, how are you going to scale up. You're figuring out a number of things, so you log. Sensitive data gets logged in plain text. My name gets logged in plain text. My credit card number gets logged in plain text. And that log never gets cleaned up. After the fact, I will not go and do a anonymization of that log. वो बीत गया, so बीत गया. Right? These are common mistakes I see startups doing. Right? And it's very difficult after the fact for you to be able to do it. My suggestion to startups always is, security is as important an activity that should be considered during your architecture process. I understand you need to get to product first, you need to get to market first, you need to co-pilot it with the initial customers. I understand all of that, and that's important. But if you do a little bit additional, buy the right technologies. Either you have to build it yourself or there are technologies that are available at a fraction of the cost. So buy those technologies, inculcate those technologies for basic things, encrypt, anonymize, basic things, right? Do them right. It will go a long way.
So it will be helpful in the near future for them.
Absolutely. Not just near future, it will go a long way for them to scale. And these under the hood due diligence that takes place when investors come in, good investors will do that. Unfortunately, not a whole lot of investors do it, but definitely acquisitions will go through a lot of due diligence. And at that time, you will not cut a sorry figure. You have walked the mile, ready to get acquired, and then and you believe that you'll exit and you'll make some money out of it. And now you see that that acquisition is not going through because your security due diligence is not up to the mark. Why? You could have just done some few things right up front, and the problem would have solved.
Correct.
Right? So just do a few things right from the beginning.
To get to this point, is it necessary that we leave the nowadays startups are more into UI than the main actual whatever is required? The best way I can say is that रोल्स रॉयस का ये होना चाहिए और अंदर मारुति 800 का इंजन होना चाहिए, क्या रोल्स रॉयस पूरा एंड टू एंड रहना चाहिए?
नहीं, दोनों होना चाहिए। ऐसा नहीं है कि एक दूसरे से ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है, ऐसा नहीं है। See, both the functional elements and the server side code are as important as the user experiences, right? Both are important. But now what is happening is I have a very good friend of mine who says, it shouldn't be about applying lipstick to a pig. मतलब पिग तो पिग है, उस पे आप लिपस्टिक लगा के उसको सुंदर मत बनाओ. Right? Give as much importance to the server side code. Make sure that functionally, while it is doing what it is supposed to do, it is also secure. Right? Keep that as part of your baked in architectural component. And once you do that, obviously it has to be engaging, it has to have a great UI, etc., and make sure all of that is there. There is no dispute about it. You have to make sure that there is engagement.
One suggestion for Gen Zs, because we tend to give information like anything. Even I am a Gen Z. You can, but
Understood.
I am into security business, so I know what data should be given and what data should not be given. One good suggestion that you would like to give.
Make sure that you don't give personal data. Right? Well, there is no easy way of saying this. Now, अभी Gen Z बोलता है कि मैं दूंगा ही दूंगा, तो बस I can only educate you, don't give it.
Yes.
Right? Here is a very small, very simplistic manner in which you need to principally follow this. Whenever you are giving anything externally, be it a prompt that you are giving to a chat GPT, be it data that you are trying to input, ask yourself, step back, ask yourself, how much of this data is my personal data? How much of this data can be misused against me?
Correct.
And if that answer is, oh, this and this is actually, oh, I have got my phone number, I've got my name, I've got my bank account information, step back, find a way to remove that. Find a solution that will anonymize it for you. Find a solution that will actually at runtime. Maybe better, even if you don't have to apply your brain, ask a solution to be in place, pay money for these things. Not everything in this world is for free. Not everything is an Instagram reel.
Correct.
Right? So pay money for these things. Even if it is small money, pay money, because that will go a long way in making sure that you are secure. You don't get into spoofs, you don't get into eventual targets. Like deep fakes or this digital arrest processes, etc., etc. It will go a long way.
Correct. So my next question is, India digitalized faster than any large economy. Identity, Aadhaar card, payments, UPI, healthcare, let's say Practo, Medibuddy, Tata 1mg, all these. Did we digitalize trust before protection? And could also India lose global contracts not due to the product quality but the data trust?
No, you're right. See, in India, we built digital highways, whether it is for identity, for payment, etc. We built these at breathtaking speed. We built it beautifully, which unlocked enormous amount of innovation as well. Lot of downstream applications came because of this digital highway. If this was not there, that would not have. And political and natural causes also played a role. Demonetization played a role. COVID played a role. They all played a role, right? But cultural and institutional layers are as important, and that protects trust, right? So it's like wiring an entire city. Imagine that we are wiring an entire city for high voltage power before you start standardizing a circuit breaker. But we have wired everybody. We have not standardized. Upside is huge, but so is the blast radius. So here what has happened is, I would say India did a great job in starting the digital highway revolution. UPI by all stretches is a fantastic solution. But frauds also are equally adept in using such a fantastic solution for their personal gains, right?
Yes.
And we have seen many such instances that has happened. So now the missing link in this is the human angle. The application is the application and it is doing what it is supposed to do. But when somebody else tries to clone, He is actually creating that layer which human understanding was not evolved enough. Because we moved in building this digital highway for payments, for identity, etc. at high speed. Because we have a large population as well. Now, all of that population is not at the same level of education with respect to understanding the risks associated with this digital highway. So, to some degree, because of this human factor, that trust deficit came out, right? So, over a period of time, it will get better and better at it. And this is an evolution with any digital play. And it's not easy to bring both of them on par with each other. Something will take precedence, and a little difficult manner is when that process will actually get circled out. Recently, we had this problem with Madhya Pradesh in Sagar district. An entire tehsil land records actually got corrupted. Now, what happened? My land is now your land, your land is his land, and all of those things started happening. मेरा पट्टा नहीं रहा तो फिर क्या मतलब रहा? Then I don't know whether if there are pending payments I'm supposed to pay, I'm not supposed to, because my land is no longer my land. So I'm supposed to make those lending payments or not? Can I sell? Can I not sell? So many downstream questions come, all because of certain digitization issues that can corrupt the data, right? This will happen. At scale, these are bound to happen, right? What we need to ensure, Gujarat mein hua, Rajasthan mein hua, every place these are problems that have happened. What we need to ensure is corrective actions take place immediately. We should not go after saying that these problems are there, we should find out that ideal solution and then only roll it out. It will never ever happen. The time that you figure out the ideal solution, something else would have emerged, right? So the problem is real. We need to find solutions at runtime. Now, while this is true, the other part, which is what happens with respect to making sure that the data trust translates into product quality or not. Today, there is a number of Indian companies, like you are saying, are they winning contracts or not? They are winning contracts. They are winning contracts because they have good products. It's not because whether it is manufacturing or services, we have good products, right? So we are winning contracts. But customers have become evolved now. They are not just asking whether your part will do the job that it is supposed to do or not. They are asking, tell me the entire kundli of this part. Tell me where this part is sourced from. How was it sourced? Is it whatever you are claiming about this part, is it backed up by data? Is there enough data that backs up? So हमारे पास technology है. We talk about blockchain, सब बात करते हैं हम लोग. Our product in the form of handloom sarees, for example, right? If we say that this is actually coming from a particular type of silkworm, what data do you have to back up saying that it actually came from that source? Can you prove to me? So it's no longer just about making sure that I have the part ready. I also have to have the data alongside the part to be ready. So can India win global contracts? We absolutely can win global contracts. But we need to bring both of these in play. Those companies which have recognized it in India, and there are many who have recognized it, and some who are in the path of evolving, those who have recognized and have evolved, they will definitely continue to win global contracts. Those who are just looking at it from a manufacturing or from just the product perspective and not worry about the associated data, unlikely to continue to win contracts for a long time.
Since we are talking about data, startups, India growing, now India is one of the biggest hubs of startups. How many startups die quietly due to this data or compliance risk without headlines, according to you? And why, is this the reason why Indians are not educated about data security? That is why this happens? Or the US and Europe has made it so a public thing that every US citizen, every European citizen understand that this data should not be given out?
So we'll take the first part first. There is a lot of startups which are failing, right? And failing because of data, because of security, right? I might give a narrative which might look like there was not a product market fit. I could not get enough money because of the funding winter. Those kind of narratives I might give. But the reality is there was a lacuna from a security perspective. Architecturally, the product was not secure. The reality will be there. I was mentioning to you an example. All this will come up when there is somebody who's actually coming and going to do an acquisition, or an investor, a good investor is going to try and do due diligence in my product. At that time when it gets flagged and I don't have enough money, especially if I'm actually advanced and I'm now looking for a large tranche of money to come in, and at an architectural level I have to redo it, which means I have to redo the entire part. I have to rebuild the product essentially, because now at every layer I have to figure out how security has to be baked in, right? So now I have to redo the entire product. I may not have the money to do it. I will die because of those reasons. Societal activities, etc., will make me call it something else. I will say, "Arey, I have found a different vertical to concentrate on." वो सब नाटक है.
Okay.
But the reality is that I've goofed up. Startup का वो problem है ना, because in that hurry to get that product market fit, थोड़ा fundamentals को मैं भूल जाता हूँ, right? And sometimes it's a trade-off that you have to do consciously. I'm not saying initial 4 or 5 customers please do so, but consciously in parallel have somebody make sure that the architectural components are getting cleared out with respect to security. Perfectly okay. But you have grown to a scale where now it becomes so expensive for me to do that, then it becomes a challenge, right?
Correct.
So this is the first part. There is a lot of startups which are failing, and it will continue to do so. And you may never see these stories out there. It may never come out, and it's good. It's good, because we don't want
wrong publicity.
We don't want startups to feel so overwhelmed that they don't start at all. Well, that is also important. So we need to have a balance.
Correct.
But beyond that embarrassment, it is also as essential that the startups also should get some education. To some degree, I think there are many startup forums, there are incubators, there are mentors, there are startup forums, there are government itself. There is a lot of forums in which you can actually get educated, and we need to promote that. We need to make sure that people understand that these are fundamental blocks. As important as you are trying to find out who could be the potential customer base for you, from a product perspective, get your developer to DNA this into their day-to-day coding, right? So we have to do that. So the second part of your question in making sure that will startups be able to overcome, they can. We just have to make sure that that education is provided to them.
Yes. Now, I had one more question. You have been in US and Europe, saying that people already know that this is my data. Let's say a social security number in the US.
Correct.
I should not give it out bluntly.
Correct.
That is why the sense of security starts at a very young age, because everyone has a social security.
Correct.
In India, there is nothing. I will give my Aadhaar card number to anyone who asks about it.
Very true. No, you're absolutely right. I missed that part of the question. See, what is happening to us today, to a large degree, maybe it is because we have also evolved in the identity management sphere through a digital process only in the last 15-20 years, as much with the kind of scale that we have seen. And hence we are relatively young when you compare it to the US and Europe. Social security number as a construct has been in existence in US for a very long time. To that degree, we are relatively very young identity management construct in India. Right? So not everybody understands the fallacies of giving away your identity that easily. We never understood the importance of PAN till PAN was understood to be an important element of your income tax returns. A large portion are not income taxable, and hence that understanding was not there. Now Aadhaar has become ubiquitous, so now that understanding is slowly creeping in. Europeans, on the other hand, are well educated. Australia recently passed laws which said that anybody below the age of 16 will not have access to social media.
Correct.
Now it has become law, because they see some problems with social media and the mental impact it is having on children and so on and so forth. They have made that a law. Now those kind of governing education driven laws does not exist still for us in India in practice. A lot of laws exist in paper, but they are not available to us in practice. Right? So yes, you are right. US and Europe are fairly more advanced, more sophisticated, because from a young age they understand the importance. We still are evolving in that construct, right? Which also is an opportunity for us to build systems that become more robust than individuals. Even if the individual does an error, let the system be so robust that it will not fail in spite of the human failure. Right? So maybe that is something that we have to do.
Startups and companies only have to take the responsibility.
Correct.
So let's move to a near future topic, which is quantum computing. Quantum computing threatens today's encryption. Everyone knows. Basically, technologists and people who are aware, they know about it. Is this a future problem or a present one waiting to surface?
Very, very good question, because a lot of people still don't understand quantum well enough, right? They think it is just speed as an advantage. It is definitely a present problem disguised as a future one, but it is a present problem. Data uh, at its core has got a long shelf life. You take your financial records, you take your health records, you take your even state data, right? Military data, state data, country data, genomics data, everything has got a long shelf life. Today, the ability for me to unlock value from these at scale using quantum is very, very high, right? But not all data is migrated yet to quantum. Now, here is what happens. Why I say it is a present problem and not a future problem, right? So let us say there is a class of state secrets. Let us say diplomatic cables. Diplomatic cables that are at that time, let us say 10-15 years ago, the diplomatic cables were encrypted. At that time, let us say AES was the standard, best standard. It was encrypted in that standard. Let us say those are waiting with me. Today, I am not able to decrypt it.
Correct.
But there are secrets in it.
Correct.
Today, I will not decrypt it. I will wait for 5 years. I will wait for 3 years. The day quantum computer democratizes itself and is available to everybody, it will definitely decrypt it for me.
Correct.
Right? So, the question of whether it is a present problem or a future problem, it is a present problem in the disguise of a future problem, but it is a present problem. Because if this breaks, if these diplomatic cables break, it could cause wars.
World War III is inevitable.
It could be World War III. It could become very sensitive, right?
Yes.
Another example is genomics data, right? Health data. I'll give you an example. Now, I will put your data under lock and key today. And I will say, chalo, quantum 20 years from today, let us say it unlocks. 20 years. I'm giving the benefit of doubt. I'm saying, 2-3 साल तो छोड़ो, 20 years के बाद. 20 years from today, it is going to unlock. तब तो मैं बूढ़ा हो जाऊंगा यार, क्या फर्क पड़ता है? But genomics data has got direct impact on your children, on your grandchildren, on the generations to come. While you as an individual might not be affected,
Correct.
those generations are affected because health records are as sensitive there. It is today's problem. It might be disguised as a future problem, but it is today's problem.
A whole country's genomic data can cause catastrophe by just one element of...
It can change markets. It can change dimensions. So many things can happen.
Correct. Like I can infuse some kind of a virus in the whole country and then only that country is affected.
Correct.
Which sectors will feel quantum failure first according to you?
I think quite a few, but if I have to probably prioritize, I would say defense. Defense, especially communications. National infrastructure, right? So, for example, critical national infrastructure, power plants, metros, rail, shipping, those kind of infrastructure. Financial infrastructure, UPI as an example, UPI. Those digital payment gateways, those are all your money transfer protocols. Those are the largest ones that will probably be high on the agenda for hackers using quantum cryptography to be able to start unlocking illegally the value that can come out of it, right? So that would be my vote, right? Those would be the first three that I would say, and hence those startups and enterprises which are in those, I would say, should be more careful and should start finding solutions that will ensure that catastrophe does not happen.
Correct. While you were saying the democratization of quantum, Hackers, of course, if they want to hack, they have to be knowledgeable.
Correct.
And learning quantum won't be a big of a challenge due to all this tech and everything, and access to certain kind of technologies. While you were saying, I had a thought process. IBM already gives it for 10 minutes, and 10 minutes is more than enough for a quantum computer to do a lot of
Absolutely,
things.
absolutely. See, there are two parts to this in quantum. We are deviating a little bit away from that core topic, but nevertheless, there are two parts to it, right? See, one is the quantum machine itself, the computer itself, right? The quantum computer itself. And today there are multiple technologies that still provide you the quantum capabilities, the qubit capabilities, right? Somebody says cryogenic is good, somebody else says some other technology. We'll not worry about it, right? That's a physics problem, physics and electronics problem, and let the scientists figure that out. We'll worry for a moment only with the applications that are going to use quantum, right? We'll stick to the application part of it. Now, the quantum application side will soon, and India has also started to evolve quantum computers. You will start not just IBM, AWS. There are so many of these guys, Google, all of these guys have now started giving quantum computing hours, just like the way you get CPU compute or GPU compute. They are priced on an hourly basis, priced on a minute basis, etc. All those have already come in place. They will still become better and better as the computer's underlying technology becomes evolved, and it will evolve. They started from 1 qubit to today. I believe people are working on 127 and 256 and so many, 255 and so many higher qubits, right? So it will continue to evolve. The more qubits, the more power, etc. What will, however, be great to the guys who are actually evolving applications using quantum is the fact that they don't have to worry about the humongous amount of GPU compute that is required for their AI applications. One quantum compute will actually be able to do so much that otherwise requires this humongous amount of GPU compute.
Hours or minutes.
It will start doing it in a fraction, one. Second is, imagine from a country's perspective the energy requirements. GPUs and the amount of energy guzzling that it does vis-a-vis one quantum and the amount of energy guzzling that it does. So there is a huge differential, right? So the country is also being able to take advantage of better optimal utilization of their energy resources. Okay. So I think because of these factors, we will see the generations to come will actually get democratized access to quantum. So this 10-minute and the understanding that, oh, this is something next to God, will all go away. You will actually start democratized usage patterns evolving.
So it is fair to say that data stolen today is already compromised, just waiting to be decrypted.
Absolutely. Data that you have, it's a present problem. Data that you have today, which you believe is encrypted very, very strongly, is not. Is not. Right? It is just, you are probably just, I don't want to sound so ambitious that it is just a few weeks away, but I'm saying it is a matter of a few years.
Yes.
And then all of the data, that is why it is a problem of present disguised as a problem of the future, but it is a problem of the present.
We are about to end this long and interesting podcast. I have few personal questions for you. After everything you have built in all these sectors and seen everything, what personally worries you today?
I think the most worrisome is the widening gap between what systems can do and the understanding that people have of what systems can do. That worries me a lot. What we have now done is we have almost delegated trust to vendor institutions, right? I am buying insurance. I have delegated my decision making to that insurance company. Their system has taken over my decision making process. Earlier, परखता था चीज़ों को, जांचता था, फिर मैं decision लेता था. Now a recommendation engine is telling me that this is the most apt thing for you, and I've learnt about you based upon your past historical purchases, based upon the profile that you are. This worries me a lot, because now there is a huge gap between that system and the human understanding of what the system can do. And what I'm praying and hoping is that it doesn't get to a degree where we become slaves of the system, right? So हम लोग बार बार बोलते हैं human intuition in the loop and all those things. I don't know how much of it is real. Because our value proposition these days, as many of the startups, is that the fact that I can actually not let the human do the decision making. I will do the decision for you. Right? That is a very dangerous phenomena. That is what worries me a lot.
Agentic AI booking holidays for you.
Holidays for you. I have now decided that you like a beach.
Correct.
And I have decided that you like a beach of this kind, in this place. And now if you're going with your girlfriend, I have decided that together you like a different kind of a beach. That is dangerous. Let that individual have an individuality. Don't kill that. Right? And this agentic AI, etc. We seem to be going the extreme. Use agentic. It's a phenomenal technological innovation that has happened. Use that. Use that for tasks that it is meant for, not for elements where human intervention is absolutely essential. Don't remove that from the picture.
Correct.
Right? Where if I want to go on a vacation, maybe suggestions to some degree, but not to the degree that is being planned today by many of the companies that I see. My decision making is taken over.
तुम इधर ही जाना चाहिए.
तुमको इधर ही जाना चाहिए. यही सबसे बढ़िया. And then artificially it is actually creating mind pressure in my game by pricing it so low.
Correct.
Etc. That now I feel that this is what it is telling is the right thing. It may not be so.
Food.
It
says that you have to eat this and this is at the lowest cost.
So this personalization has been taken a little to the extreme, I believe. That worries me. The gap that is widening between the human and the system that is actually trying to mimic the human.
Correct.
That is worrisome.
If you had to advise governments, founders, technologists about one irreversible mistake we are making with data, what would it be? And how would you actually interpret it in a way that everyone understands?
Data is finite. Consequences are infinite. Right? Data has a long shelf life. Think through what the data can be used for or misused for beyond your lifetime. Because your data is not dying with you. Your data is
absolutely
is an eternal creature, right? I have seen products where the roadmap proudly they claim that I'm going to capture every touchstone, every touch point that this particular customer will have. Effectively, volume of data, right? And they make it sound like a virtue. What they are not realizing is that much of data is a responsibility. Even a small element of the data misused, you can kill an entire downstream process of how the data is used, right? And that can be very, very dangerous. Treating data as a consequence-free mindset is a very, very difficult decision that startups, that companies actually dwell with. I wish there was. The answer cannot be in state-run regulation. Regulators can only do so much. Regulators are policy makers, are guideline providers. They cannot enforce every aspect of our living. It has to be something that we evolve ourselves internally. So what I wish is that as a society, we understand our responsibility better. As custodians, the startups, the enterprises become more accountable. That would be the best suggestion I would give.
And if we ignore this advice, how does the world look after 10 years according to your perspective?
My fear is it already started now. And 10 years, hopefully we'll find systems that will be better than where we are today. So imagine, a teenager, say somebody who is in their grade 10 today, or just about entering their 11th or 12th or something like that. Once And 10 years from today, they are entering into their corporate world. They are getting ready to buy their first home. They are getting ready to do some real expenditure and things like that. They come across education, they come across healthcare, they come across credit as a score, and it has now been institutionalized inside them that this is how things will work.
Correct.
Because systems have taken over and individuality is lost, right? So trust will shift from institutions to platforms. Trust will shift from institutions to platforms, and similarly from citizens to algorithms. That is what will be the disaster for all of us.
Absolutely. It's a lot about, we should think this, like this can have a different conversation also.
Correct.
A whole lot of a conversations.
Correct.
Like to just end by saying this wasn't just a conversation about technology. We thought through about our responsibilities, and responsibility that doesn't fail loudly. This is what we have been
Correct.
talking.
Correct.
Responsibility that doesn't fail loudly.
Correct.
And it fails quietly until it's too late.
Absolutely correct.